WrestleMania 34, finally here. How would the Amplified Man book WrestleMania if I was head of creative? If I was the head booker, the head writer for WrestleMania 34, this is the show I would put together. I want to make this perfectly clear for new subscribers. This is not a predictions video. Before every pay-per-view, I will literally go top to bottom and tell you how I would book the pay-per-view, match for match. So again, not necessarily predictions, not even necessarily who I would want to win. It's how I would book this for future booking and for going forward with characters and superstars and storylines and feuds. What would be the best way to book it now? So that's what this video is. And there's a lot to get to, obviously. There is 14 matches in all, if you include Undertaker John Cena as a match, whether it be legit or whether it be non-sanctioned. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving off the pre-show. I will tell you who I feel should win that if I was to book that pre-show. It would be for the women. Sasha Banks winning that match doesn't do anything for her because the Women's Battle Royal is a schmaz sham anyway. Nobody really cares about it. Therefore, I would have Sasha and Bayley continue their little feud. Whatever they got going, eliminate each other. That's the best way to keep building them at this point. Either one of them winning the Battle Royal, not only will it do nothing for them, it might have the adverse effect. It might work against them. I would have Ember Moon come up from NXT as a participant in the Battle Royal, and Ember Moon picks up a big W for her. Because for her, she's in NXT. To win the WWE Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania, that can only do wonders for her. So, and she is the NXT champion down there. So I think Ember Moon is who I would have booked as the winner of the Women's Battle Royal. As far as the men, I think you would have to give this to Woken Matt Hardy. He's got some momentum since his Ultimate Deletion match on Monday Night Raw with Bray Wyatt. You can have some returning superstars in there if you would like. You can have some good NXT call-ups. You can even have some 205 Livers in there if you want. But in the end, I think it has to be Woken Matt Hardy. I think he's got the most to gain from this. Not necessarily the most to lose, but he's got the most to gain. So you might as well allow him to gain that momentum going forward. And for the Cruiserweights, I don't see how you don't put this on Cedric Alexander. But who the fuck knows, man? I'm in no position to talk too in-depth about the Cruiserweights. If I'm booking this, it goes to Cedric Alexander. Now on to the main show. And this is in chronological match order, how I would put this. I would start this motherfucker off at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, in The Miz, Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship match. They should give these superstars at least 18 minutes up front. That's enough time to at least allow them this fast pace that I would have set for them. It's the first match of the night, so you don't really want to start putting people to sleep necessarily, but you also don't want to put on like a cruiserweight match and just be like a ping pong ball and just nothing but high-flying, high-octane action. But you want to keep it at a decent, consistent, and at times fast pace. And at the end of this match, I would have the Miztourage take out Finn Balor. Inside of the ring, you have The Miz about to do a skull-crushing finale on Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins is able to capitalize and reverse the skull-crushing finale into a snap-mirror backdrop. And in this snap-mirror, Seth Rollins flips over backwards. Miz goes to get up from the snap-mirror, but out of nowhere, just like an RKO, curb stomp from Seth Rollins. So in a matter of seconds, you're going from a skull-crushing finale into a snap mirror into a curb stomp. It all happens within seconds. Crowd gets shocked as if it was an RKO because that curb stomp gets a big reaction from the crowd. The second the curb stomp is set in place, the crowd is going to erupt, flip over the Miz. 1, 2, and I'm talking 3. We have a new Intercontinental Champion. His name is Seth Rollins. And he defeats the actual champion. He doesn't defeat the third participant, Finn Balor. No, he defeats the champion, The Miz. What a way to kick off WrestleMania. First of all, you have a good match. Obviously, it's Seth Rollins and Finn Balor in there. You add in The Miz. You put them in a good 18-minute match. You have that type of fun ending. And then on top of it, you crown a new IC champion and somebody the crowd loves, Seth fucking Rollins. That would get the crowd really fucking in gear, in motion, in stride with WrestleMania. That's my first match on the card. And that is a new champion. And that is Seth Rollins. Second match, we keep this going. The equivalent to the IC championship over on SmackDown is the United States Championship. And that's what I would have as match number 2. You have Bobby Roode, you have Randy Orton, you have Rusev, and you have Jinder Mahal. Now this match, obviously it's a lot of bounce 50-50, right? You're going to have Rusev have the upper hand a lot. You're going to have Bobby Roode get the upper hand a lot. You're going to have Jinder's going to have the upper hand a lot. You're going to have Orton. It's going to be one of those schmaz types as far as Fatal 4-Ways go. But at the end of this match is where the fun really picks up. I want Randy Orton, because this is going to be tornado style, no DQ, all that good stuff, Fatal 4-Way. So I have Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere on Jinder Mahal. But when Randy Orton goes to get up, he is met by Bobby Roode in a glorious DDT. So now Mahal is out and Randy Orton is out. But when Bobby Roode goes to get up from his glorious DDT on Orton, he is met with a Machka kick. Machka kick over to Roode. Now Roode is out. Orton is out. Mahal is out. Rusev is standing tall. Picture this moment right now. You have to at least give them 15 to 20 minutes. And you just had this match come down to everybody is knocked out from moves. And Rusev is the last man standing. The crowd will be going berserk with their Rusev Day, Rusev Day. Again, whatever the fuck that even means. But everybody will be going nuts with it, thinking this is it. Rusev can pick whoever he wants and pin that son of a bitch. We have a new U.S. champion. And Aiden English out of nowhere, behind Rusev, low blow on Rusev. Rusev drops like a ton of bricks. Aiden English can get a little bit more offense in real quick if he chooses to. But Aiden English goes over to Jinder Mahal, wakes him up, drags him over to Rusev. Referee has no choice but to count a 1, a 2, and even a 3. Aiden English does the real heel turn. None of this BC. Rusev and Aiden English are kind of heels. No, they're not. You're gonna know what I mean at WrestleMania when they're cheering Rusev that loudly. They ain't no heels. Aiden English may be. Rusev isn't. So Aiden English does the actual heel turn on Rusev. Helps Jinder Mahal cover Rusev. Again, the ref, no choice but to count to 3. We have a new United States champion, Jinder Mahal. BC, that's ballsy. You have an Aiden English turn on Rusev on the grandest stage of them all. Well, where else? I think Rusev Day is only going to get more stale by the day, by the week, if Aiden English is there with Rusev. Aiden English, all he does with Rusev is he announces him by going, Rusev Day, and then Rusev comes out. It's going to get stale, if it isn't already. There's only so far you can go with Rusev and Aiden English. Rusev is going to have to branch out on his own now. He's got the fans behind him. He's got the fan support. He's got the merchandise sales. He's got it all, but now he needs to branch off. Aiden English has to be that nemesis now. And what better way than to team up with Jinder Mahal? Jinder Mahal is now the U.S. champion. I think Mahal and Aiden English can really bounce off of each other and work well with each other. I think there's going to be an awesome chemistry between the two. And what this guy does, guys, is it sets Rusev up momentum-wise. You set him up with this big, long feud with Aiden English, and then eventually Jinder Mahal, and at SummerSlam in Brooklyn, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, then Rusev gets his big moment against Jinder Mahal, and he takes that strap from Mahal. But this is how you build up Rusev, not just by throwing a championship at him at WrestleMania after a 2-week momentum swing. Not going to work long term because they won't know how to book Rusev. So I'm giving you a solid way to book Rusev correctly so that when he wins that United States Championship, it's going to mean something going forward and you would have made the man. As I said in yesterday's video, guys, that 1+ hour amplified Q&A, it's the title doesn't make the man makes the title. So first you have to make the man. They haven't made the man, Rusev, yet. Booking-wise, momentum-wise. The fans have gotten behind him, yes, but you're going to have to do a lot more booking-wise. This is the way to do it. A little 4 to 6 week initial feud with Aiden English, and then it leads right into his new buddy, his new best friend, his new protege, and Jinder Mahal. And then that leads to the SummerSlam ultimate payoff. And then when he wins the United States Championship again, it means something. A lot more. He's beating the dastardly heel duo of English and Mahal. Because, as I said in yesterday's video, Rusev has already had that championship twice, the United States strap. This is nothing new to him. He's already been the United States champion. Not once, but twice. Throwing it on him again, if you have booking for him, that's one thing. You know WWE won't know how to book him going forward. I'm giving you a solid plan for Rusev. And what a WrestleMania moment. Everyone thinks Rusev can just pick whoever he wants to pin because everybody was knocked out from their moves. And Aiden English does the dastardly deed. The balls on English. He turns on Rusev and he aligns himself with the dastardly Mahal. Mahal picks up the United States Championship. What a first 2 matches, man. Rollins holding that strap up high. The crowd fucking erupting in adulation. The crowd again in the very next match erupting in adulation for Rusev. But Rusev can't quite get it done because of fucking English and Mahal. You have every type of emotion in a roller coaster ride in just the first 2 matches of Amplified booking. That's what I'm talking about. We then go into the third match of the night. This is going to be for the Raw Women's Championship. You've had a fun couple of first matches. We want to bring it down a little bit. This is going to be a traditional squash match. Needs to be. Storyline-wise, it deserves to be and needs to be. And just booking-wise, because other matches are going to need that time. We already know Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax will not be a 10 flying elbow, amplified elbow classic. You know? A 5-star classic. It's not going to be between Alexa and Nia. So let's tell the story what it needs to be. For weeks, Alexa Bliss has been bullying Nia Jax and making fun of her. But when Nia tries to get her hands on her, Alexa Bliss does the typical mean girl route. She can make fun of somebody, but she can't duke it out. She always runs away. So the story is simple here. At WrestleMania, she can't run away. It's a match for the strap against Nia Jax. It's a squash match. Now, before the bell rings, Alexa has her plan to have Mickie James jump Nia Jax, but for the first whole minute before the bell even rings, Nia Jax gets squashed by Nia Jax in every which way. I'm talking splashes into the corner, fireman's carry into the fucking Samoan drops, just absolutely destroying Mickie James. Tossing her onto the outside, looking at Alexa like, you're next. Ref's like, that is true. Ring the bell. And Alexa Bliss is like, fuck. She gets in the ring. She tries to get some cheap shots in on Nia Jax, but it quickly turns bad for Alexa. And in just 2 to 3 minutes, Alexa is down for the count. 1, 2, 3. Again, I want flying splashes into the corner. I want Samoan drops. I want 3, not just 1, 3 of Nia Jax's leg drops. I want Alexa Bliss so destroyed here that the headline isn't Alexa Bliss loses championship. The headline is Alexa Bliss even still alive? Can somebody go check? I mean, that's how Nia Jax needs to get the ultimate payoff here. Destroys Alexa so that when the referee counts that 3 count, the crowd is like, fucking A, man. Alexa got destroyed. And new Raw Women's Champion, Nia Jax. This will set up something cool for SummerSlam, Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey going forward. And again, you do this all in not a lot of time. You can get all of this done with entrances in about 10 minutes. So that's the perfect way to do that and save time for other matches in going forward, like the Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon, Owen Zayn, Nakamura, AJ Styles, matches like that could actually use that time. So 3 straight matches to start off WrestleMania, 3 straight new champions. Now, the 4th match, you're going to be like, BC, ballsy, putting this match in this time spot. The 4th match of the card, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H versus Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. But why BC? Why not closer to the end? Guys, look at this card. It is stacked. Like 9 championship matches. You have The Undertaker and Cena in some form or fashion on this card. You have easily a double main event, whether you like it or not, Brock and Roman, and obviously AJ and Shinsuke. You have Daniel Bryan's return in that tag team match. What are you going to do? Put all of your main matches right at the end, back to back to back to back? You can't do that. And B, more importantly, you don't want to put that much pressure on Ronda Rousey. It's bad enough this is her first match in front of a WrestleMania crowd, both at home on TV and there live, tens of thousands of people. Don't put too much pressure that she is one of these like actual main events. Put her in that 4th spot. And again, this is right after the crowd was brought down a little bit from Nia Jax and Alexa, like a few minutes squash match. Now they can be re-energized for this match. And for this match, we do have some overbooking. But this is Triple H's specialty, right? Remember WrestleMania when he took on Sting? You had D-Generation X coming back. You had the NWO. The way I see this match ending, because everybody kind of has to save face here. Triple H and Stephanie really have to play that they're the heels. You cannot possibly have Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle lose this match. So at the end, I would have, first of all, Triple H is just getting beaten down, not only by Kurt Angle, but also by Ronda Rousey. And there comes a point where there's about to be a pinfall, Kurt Angle on Triple H. Stephanie McMahon pulls the referee out so vigorously that the referee lands face first onto the outside. So he's kind of down and out. Now, they're not going to be disqualified because you're not going to disqualify your bosses, the authority. So the ref's not going to disqualify them when he gets up. But he's a little shaken up. Stephanie McMahon literally pulled the referee from inside the ring to the outside like we've seen in the past. And Stephanie McMahon is pissed. Triple H, her husband, is down and out. Angle was about to pin him. Ronda Rousey's looking badass, more badass than ever before. So Stephanie McMahon panics, and she's calling to the back area for somebody to come out. Sure enough, it's Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe returns to WWE. We always know that Samoa Joe was one of Triple H's henchmen. So this all makes sense. And we know there's history between Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle, especially back, realistically speaking, from their TNA days. So here comes Samoa Joe down. Samoa Joe quickly does dirty work on Kurt Angle. And he's got the clutch on Kurt Angle. As much as Rousey was trying to stop it, it was to no avail. He's got the clutch on. Rousey's trying to pull off, but here comes the fucking Rock. The Rock's music blasts because the clutch is not coming off. And the Rock is scheduled to be there, even though he's saying in interviews, oh, I don't know anything about that. I'm not going to show up. The same thing Ronda Rousey did for the Royal Rumble, and she ended up showing up. We heard that Warner Brothers and WWE were this close for making an official deal, and that The Rock can go if there's some way that he can promote his movie in the week leading up to Rampage, which comes out the week after WrestleMania. So I would have this moment to be where The Rock comes out. Samoa Joe's got the clutch, and The Rock comes down to the ring because The Rock started all of this with Ronda Rousey. WrestleMania 31. Triple H, Stephanie McMahon face-to-face with The Rock and Ronda Rousey. The first time we saw Ronda Rousey ever in a WWE ring was when The Rock brought her in there to go face-to-face with Stephanie and Triple H. From the beginning, this should have been The Rock and Ronda versus Triple H and Steph. Instead, we got Kurt and Steph. And by the way, secondary, they tried to get Batista in there to go with Ronda Rousey, but that wasn't able to work either. So it ended up being Kurt Angle. But at the very end of this match, we can right all of those wrongs. We can right the ship. The Rock comes down to save the day. And sure enough, he got Samoa Joe in the rock bottom instantly. Triple H is up, not for long. Rock bottom to Triple H. Stephanie McMahon comes out of nowhere, smacks the taste out of Dwayne Johnson's mouth. Huge slap to The Rock. The Rock looks at the crowd. Crowd's going nuts. You don't know what The Rock's going to do. He sets Stephanie McMahon up for the rock bottom. But before he rock bottoms Stephanie McMahon, he looks at Ronda, and Ronda's like, no, give me the bitch. And The Rock swings Stephanie over to Ronda. Ronda grabs Stephanie McMahon, drops her into her arm bar. About to snap Stephanie McMahon's arm off of her body when the ref crawls back in just in time to see Stephanie McMahon tapping the fuck out fluently, viciously, furiously. Your winners of the match, Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, and what a Sports Center moment with that photograph at the end, when you have the Olympic gold medalist with the UFC former champion, and also Olympic medalist, and the Hollywood A-lister, the Hollywood fucking bombshell that is The Rock. Fucking the box office mainstay that he is. You have The Rock, you have Ronda, and you have Kurt. Snap that photograph. Caption this. That's the way you end that fucking match. The Rock comes back to help out Ronda. Ronda could not get the fucking clutch off of Samoa Joe, and he's fucking about to annihilate Kurt Angle. But then The Rock comes to save the day, and he finishes what he started. Again, storyline-wise, this makes sense. Because he started all of this. It was because of him that Ronda Rousey and Stephanie McMahon, storyline-wise, Ronda Rousey, Stephanie, and Triple H had any beef to begin with. The Rock came to New Orleans to finish what he started. Fuck, man. And if he isn't yet officially signed to be there, and Warner Brothers and WWE couldn't come to an official agreement, and he's got to go to the UK to promote Rampage, you still have a couple of days left. You give any amount of money, you put any deal in place to promote Rampage, but you get The Rock in New Orleans because he needs to finish what he started. What a way to end that fucking match. And just like that, the first 4 matches of WrestleMania, and we are feeling like it's WrestleMania and beyond. At least in amplified booking, man. I go right on from there to an even bigger tag match as far as participants. Not as far as marketing. But you have a triple threat tag match for the SmackDown Tag Championships. The Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers would be my match number 5. This match speaks for itself. Literally, they have to go in there and just put on the best performance of their fucking lives. It's WrestleMania. It should be a tornado tag match because it's all 3 teams. Obviously, we know what the Usos and the New Day can do. We know for big guys what Bludgeon Brothers can do, especially Luke Harper. Pull back, no punches. Go full throttle. Put your foot to the gas pedal and don't let off of that son of a bitch. Give them at least 17 minutes to show what they could do, and at the very end of this match, the Bludgeon Brothers, the last 2 minutes, have to annihilate the Usos and the New Day. Just like they did, was it Fastlane? When they totally annihilated everybody, the Usos and the New Day, the ending to this match has to kind of be the same. So everybody gets to show off what they could do in the ring. It's an awesome match. This is awesome, right? We'll even be chanting out. But at the end, we can't forget who the fuck we're dealing with. And you really want to create some new stars here. Create the Bludgeon Brothers to be legit badasses like you've been building up the past couple of months. So everybody gets their just due in this match. Everybody gets ample time to showcase their skills. It's an actual really awesome match, but at the end, it is an absolute destruction of the Usos and the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers get the 3 count. 1, 2, 3, and new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Bludgeon Brothers. No need to overbook that match. Let them go out and showcase what they could do. There was rumors because WWE.com accidentally leaked photos that it was going to be a TLC match, and then they immediately took all of that off. So does WWE still make that a TLC match? Who knows? No matter what, these 3 teams are going to go out there and deliver. In my booking, I'll just keep it as a regular match, and I still think they're going to overperform. And again, at the end, if the Bludgeon Brothers are booked correctly, that's going to be an ultimate payoff when they pick up those straps. Every fan should be thinking, son of a bitch, who is going to knock them off their pedestal? Who can beat this team? And that's when in the back of your mind, I want you to start thinking, Authors of Pain in Bludgeon Brothers, SummerSlam. I'm thinking for the future. That's how I book shit, guys. You know, I book things for what's next. And for the Bludgeon Brothers, the Authors of Pain would just make sense. It would be a marketing it would be a marketing fiesta. Could you imagine what you could do with the Bludgeon Brothers and the Authors of Pain? Storyline-wise. Get the visual up on the poster. Everybody would have to see that match. These 4 behemoths colliding. But if you put the Authors of Pain over on Raw, I might have a little something for them there too. I'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. But that's match number 5. The Bludgeon Brothers capture SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And Usos and New Day have nothing to be ashamed of because that match should be absolutely kick-ass. Match number 6. Another match you're kind of like, wow, ballsy to put it in match number 6, BC. That is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Raw Universal Championship. You don't have to call it the Raw Universal Championship, but it is their Raw Heavyweight Championship. Brock and Roman, you don't have to overbook this either. At the end of this, when the match is over, I'm going to overbook a little bit. But up front, the match, I'm not doing any Paul Heyman turning on Brock. Now that we know it is officially confirmed, guys, Dana White has confirmed this. Not only confirmed it, but they're already starting to look for opponents for Brock. This was his latest TMZ interview for Dana White. So Brock Lesnar is officially headed back to the UFC. That is official. And so now he's leaving. You really want Paul Heyman. This has to be realistic. Paul Heyman is going to be with Brock every step of the way in UFC. And when Brock does come back, because he will come back to WWE and finish off his career for at least one more year contract, you're going to want Paul Heyman with him. It just works. So you're really not going to have Paul Heyman turn on Brock, even though as fun as that would have been, and as much as I talked about that in earlier videos, makes no sense. This is for one job only, and that's for Vince McMahon to get that strap on Roman Reigns. So if that's what he wants, that's what we're going to give him. This match is going to be very physical. If you don't want to see this match, or you just don't like it, or you don't like the storyline, that's fine, but don't fool yourself. This is going to be an intense, badass, physical altercation. And what I would do at the top of the show is announce that this is going to be no disqualification. Because I think Roman and Brock deserve to be in there with no DQ. Honestly, annihilate each other. And that's what I think Roman and Brock is going to do. Especially if Brock knows he's out of WWE. Brock is going to unleash fucking hell and fury on Roman. Like, for real. And I think Roman will dish it right back. Don't be surprised if both are busted open in this match. I'm serious. The hard way. And when it's all said and done, I see Brock Lesnar defeated by Roman Reigns. It has to happen again because Brock's leaving. I would have loved to book this as Brock wins and then somehow he loses the strap the next night or something like that. But guys, wouldn't make sense. That's only hurting Roman Reigns, even though a lot of people don't want to see Reigns capture the title on the biggest stage of them all. At least in my booking, I got them as match number 6. Not the main event and nowhere near it. But you could still look at it as part of a double main event because the match card is so stacked. Even Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, that match was at match number 4. So the Universal Championship is at match number 6. No harm, no foul. A physical contest where two men destroyed each other. And at the very end, Roman Reigns is new Universal Champion of the world. The crowd, maybe even nod, hey, and goodbying that whole song to Brock Lesnar because they're going to know he's leaving. And Paul Heyman is shocked, like this is it for us. And in the end, I want the camera to stick on Roman Reigns because a lot of people are going to be frustrated and upset. Oh, Roman Reigns got the championship. We knew this was going to happen. A lot of boos. And I want the camera to stay on Roman. He's going to celebrate in the ring, obviously, a little bit. I want the camera on him all the way up the ramp. That's a long walk. So the time that the Undertaker is not going to take for that walk, we're going to give that to Roman now. Roman's going to walk up, all the boos, all the cheers, whatever it is. I want real life emotion. If I'm booking this, I want Kevin Dunn to capture all the real shots. The real boos, the real cheers, real emotion from the crowd. And when he gets to the ramp, I want Roman Reigns to just turn back one last time, looking at Brock Lesnar down at ringside, looking around the crowd, maybe even bloodied, like he just went to war because he did, and he's got nothing left to give. And then right when he looks back and he's got nothing left to give, wham! Samoa Joe out of nowhere. A beatdown on Roman Reigns, and the whole storyline is perfect because we already know, if you guys don't know, I'm about to spoil this for you. The first challenger for Roman Reigns' championship going forward is actually going to be Samoa Joe. It's already being advertised for some live events and for it's being talked about for the pay-per-view next. So Samoa Joe is the next guy. Why not set that up at WrestleMania? And the perfect way to set this up is his cousin, Roman Reigns' cousin, his family member, just took out Samoa Joe and embarrassed him 2 matches before. So I want Samoa Joe, when he attacks Roman, to be screaming that out, and I want the camera to pick up on it. And Samoa Joe is screaming, yeah, your cousin wants to embarrass me? Send this message back to your cousin. and I want him literally putting Roman Reigns into all the shit that's going to be up on the staging area. All the platforming, all that shit, the LED lights. I want Roman Reigns to be going through this shit, and I want a stunt at the very end. I want a table set up off the staging area, again, in a safe stunt manner. You got the air mattress, air bed, air fucking whatever you call it below the tables, so nobody's actually getting hurt. Relax. We're not trying to kill anybody. But I want Samoa Joe to literally fling in any which way. I don't care if it's a power bomb. I don't care if it's just fucking tossing him. But I want him to literally throw Roman Reigns off the staging area through these tables. So now you literally think, it went from, motherfucker, Roman Reigns has the championship, to, oh shit, is Roman Reigns even alive? Just like Alexa Bliss earlier, can somebody check on Roman Reigns, see if he's even got a fucking pulse? We overbooked it at the end, but not the actual match. And this sets up Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns going forward. And I agree with you guys. We've already seen that a couple of times on Monday Night Raw. Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns. I think we've even seen that at a pay-per-view, right? Either way, we've seen that match before. But I'm just telling you what WWE already has in place. Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns is in the future. They've already put that on promotional marketing advertisements. So if that's what they have anyway, and I'm in charge of booking this, I set it up right at WrestleMania. Your cousin just embarrassed me. Fucking a half an hour ago, a couple matches ago, whatever the fuck. You send this message back to him. So now he's gonna attack his family member. You embarrass me, I'm gonna fucking, one by one, take out your fucking family. He's taking out Roman. Love the booking, man. Goosebumps on that shit. Could you picture that? After this this battle, this war with Brock and Samoa Joe. So what a fucking WrestleMania for Samoa Joe. Because you gotta feel bad for this guy. Last year he should have been at WrestleMania and they just kept him off. No reasoning. This year he should have been there, but an injury kept him off from being on a main match. So now he comes out in a Rock segment. He kind of takes the deed in the Rock segment, but he saves face 2 segments later, 2 matches, and he's destroying the new Universal Champion. A very impactful couple of statements by Samoa Joe at WrestleMania. And that's the Universal Champion. That's how I booked that shit. The Raw Tag Team Championships is what we're going to do next. And I have this in the match number 7 time slot. And as far as match card, I should say. The Bar versus Braun Strowman in a mystery partner. Now, yes, people can say, oh, Bray Wyatt should be it, right? But guys, that's taking us back a couple of years. What does that do for Braun Strowman? Honestly, answer that. Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, okay, back together again. Now you're just bringing Braun back. You booked Braun up to be this epic main eventer, and now all of a sudden he's got a tag team strap with Braun Strowman. Please tell me how that makes sense. Oh, it'll be badass for the moment, BC. Yeah, but for what future booking? It's great for Bray Wyatt. He had nothing. But for Braun? What story can you possibly tell going forward? What's that going to lead to? A Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman battle at SummerSlam? Woohoo. I think we can do better. Big Cass? Doesn't make sense. Anybody who thought Samoa Joe should have been waited to be Braun's partner, Big Cass or Samoa Joe, wouldn't make sense. Those are 2 bona fide heels. Braun Strowman has been booked up to be a mega face. I don't like that chemistry. Dean Ambrose would be the only other good option. Their chemistry could be like this fucking huge nutty guy versus this smaller nutty guy. That could be fun. But I have better, man. In my booking, I have the WWE class of fucking 2018 Hall of Famer, the headliner, Goldberg. His music blasts out of nowhere. Braun Strowman was able to find the Hall of Famer Goldberg, who just happened to be, I want the story to be told just like that. He saw Goldberg in the fucking back. He was there for the Hall of Fame. He needed a partner. Here comes fucking Goldberg. He's got the tights and everything, man. Or maybe he's just in fucking jeans. And a cutoff. Looking badass anyway. But Goldberg is fucking coming down to the ring at WrestleMania 34 to tag team with Braun Strowman. Goosebumps. And I want them to eventually, I mean, you can make this, it doesn't have to necessarily be a squash, but Goldberg shouldn't be putting in too many moves here. Goldberg should be booked the way Goldberg has his whole career. Doesn't have to do too much, and especially with Braun Strowman, Who's going to take them out? 5 minutes at best with this match. Everyone else can get more time. Again, this could be one of those matches where you can shed some of that time. Make room for The Undertaker, John Cena. Make room for AJ Styles and Shinsuke to go longer. And it's Goldberg and fucking Braun Strowman together, defeating The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, 1, 2, 3, and new Raw Tag Team Champions, Braun and Goldberg. Now you can go forward with Braun Strowman. Because if you're going to tie up that Universal Championship with Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns going forward for the next couple of months, and Seth Rollins is going to have that IC strap, you still want to make fucking Braun Strowman relevant. This is the way to do it. No Bray Wyatt feud. Not even a Dean Ambrose feud. A Goldberg match with Braun. Because ultimately, what I see going on, future booking guys, I want them to defend their championships, but it leads to some animosity. You kind of want to see it's almost like AJ and Shinsuke, but on a much larger than life scale. And you see like Braun is trying to one-up Goldberg, Goldberg's trying to one-up Braun, and it leads to some turmoil. And this leads to them actually dropping their titles. Either Goldberg wants no more part of it, so they never really lose the tag titles, and he's just like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore, or Braun does that, or their focus is so much on each other that they actually lose a match at one of the next pay-per-views. And then by SummerSlam, we get a Goldberg-Braun Strowman match. Doesn't have to be an epic 5-star match or a 10 amplified elbow match. Something just like fucking Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. And Goldberg has another match in him, guys, like a Braun Strowman match. I'm not just talking like these tag matches. Goldberg said he's not officially retired. Goldberg said if the money's right, he would fucking absolutely think about it. The story has to be right. The money has to be right. Story would be right. The time would be right. The story would be right. The time would be right. The money would be right. I would make sure of that. And Goldberg and Braun, Goldberg doesn't have to be there every week. Braun Strowman can carry the weight of that tag team, obviously. Every week you don't have to see the tag team championships defended. Every other week, maybe you see Goldberg come in. They even have a match there, here, or there before the pay-per-view. Whichever you want to do. It's only going to be 2-minute matches. Goldberg just has to go in there, throw some fucking punches, a spear, maybe a jackhammer, and then Braun will do the rest. This is more fucking epically, because Braun Strowman could be a champion himself with the tag team straps. So Goldberg with him, leading to a Goldberg-Braun Strowman feud match at SummerSlam? Fun as fuck. And ultimately, I would have Braun get the ultimate payday, and that's how Goldberg can finally ride off into the sunset. One more awesome storyline. Another championship in Goldberg's notch that he can put up there on the fucking wall. The wall of fame in his house. And in the end, he gets another huge payoff with Braun Strowman. And then you can really skyrocket Braun Strowman after SummerSlam especially. After doing that whole story with Goldberg. Becoming tag team champions at WrestleMania. Culminating in a match with Goldberg at SummerSlam, because they had to find out who's better than the other. These big larger-than-life athletes, man. That big fight feel guys that you know I just love watching in that ring. The heavyweights. Putting on a heavyweight match at SummerSlam. Fuck, man. Goosebumps on that shit. I have Goldberg, man. Again, there's no wrong answer. You could put Bray in there. You could put Cass, I guess. Samoa, I guess. Dean Ambrose. Me? If I'm booking, I'm going to shock everybody. Goldberg teaming up with Strowman. Fucking A! Oh, fuck, man. Sometimes I hate doing this because then I watch Mania and I'm like, I want my shit, man. I want my shit to go down. Fuck. Book that shit, Vince. Up in the 8th match slot, I have Charlotte, SmackDown Women's Champion, taking on challenger Asuka. I am going to overbook this match toward the end, there's no question. This match is obviously Asuka's victory and new SmackDown Women's Champion of the world. It is Asuka. There's no way Asuka's streak leads up to this WrestleMania moment where she loses this match. There's no question Asuka wins this championship. And at the end of the match, this is one of those dream matches, just like Shinsuke and AJ, where you want the nice handshake between the two, right? And they're both faces, so why not, right? A little huggly moment. It'll be great. Cupcakes, rainbows, It'll just be a feel-good moment, and hopefully somebody will bring in some milk and cookies, right? No, 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 no. Charlotte's hesitant at first, but she holds out the hand. Asuka's now really hesitant. She turns and looks at the crowd a few times. She says, fuck it. We had a great match. And this is very honorable for you to do, right? So Asuka shakes Charlotte's hand. And we get that feel-good moment. Asuka goes to turn around to celebrate on the turnbuckle. And boom, gets her leg swiped out from underneath her by Charlotte. Charlotte does the official heel turn that should have been in a long time ago. Charlotte should have never been a face. Charlotte is the closest thing we got to like Stephanie McMahon on that microphone. She can burn you and make you cry on her words alone. And she's got the face and mannerism, facial expressions and mannerisms to back up her words. She is the perfect heel. And now that you have Asuka as champion, and under her you have Naomi and Becky Lynch that are still in obscurity. What do you do with those faces on SmackDown? Where are you going to put Charlotte? She needs to be a heel. Just like Sasha needs to be a heel on Raw, Charlotte needs to be a heel here. She always needed to be. So after this match, you get a bogus handshake. Asuka turns around, she gets her legs swiped out from underneath her, and then that goes right into a figure 8. And Charlotte puts the pain, brings the pain to Asuka. And Asuka is doing every which painful fucking motion she can do to try to get off of this thing, out of this move, but it ain't working. Asuka is basically unconscious by the time that the referees in suits and ties are able to pull Charlotte from Asuka. Crowd at this point should be booing furiously, right? I mean, Charlotte did the dastardly deed to Asuka right after she won that strap, taking her moment away, just like Royal Rumble, her moment was taken away from Ronda Rousey, people think. Well, you're really not going to like this moment getting taken away because Charlotte just did that. But we're not done, and Asuka's moment was far from taken away because this amplified booking is going into overdrive. Charlotte goes up the ramp after she pulls this heel turn deed. She's going up the ramp, but one little missy is coming down the ramp, and that's F-A-B-U. You know the words. You know what we're talking about. Carmella comes down the aisle to her music blasting. The crowd erupts. Not because they give a shit about Carmella or they give a shit about the fucking briefcase, but it's a shocking moment. They give a shit about the fucking moment that's about to happen. Whether she succeeds or she fails, the fact that they're going to see the actual cash-in moment, that's what the crowd really cares about. If fucking Carmella succeeds in this cash-in, you'll hear an immediate eruption followed by like, oh, wait, it's Carmella. We're not that fucking excited. We all like Carmella, but there's no way she should be a champion. On a fucking roster that has Sasha Banks and fucking Charlotte, Naomi, and Becky Lynch. Some people would even throw Bayley in there. But Carmella having a champion, that's not. I mean, it was cute that she had the briefcase the past better part of the last year. And it's a cute prop for her to hold and to show people, see, I'm significant. But at the end of the day, Carmella can't be winning no championships here. She goes to cash in. She hands that belt, that briefcase to one of the refs, one of the 5 or 6 refs that were already in the ring trying to break up Charlotte from Asuka. And the ref actually, first you got to make sure Asuka's back to her feet. That's the rules. You got to make sure Asuka acknowledges what's about to happen. So the ref gets Asuka to her feet, and we literally hear the announcement followed by the bell ring, man. So the crowd knows this is going to happen now. The announcement was made. You always get the initial pop when the announcement is made for a cash-in, and then the bell rings and you get another little pop. And 60 seconds later, sorry Carmella, Asuka locks in an armbar on a fresh Carmella in a 50% at best Asuka. And Asuka is so fucking badass, she whips in 60 seconds Carmella up in an armbar. Carmella is tapping out furiously, vividly, viciously tapping out. Asuka picks up 2 wins in the matter of like 5 minutes. Charlotte and Carmella in one night. A failed cash-in attempt by Carmella. It's beautiful. So much for her moment getting taken away for her at the Royal Rumble because she just made up for it at WrestleMania. So much for her moment getting taken away when Charlotte attacked her because she just made up for it on Carmella. And anybody thinking, oh, but this would ruin Carmella, Beastie. Really? Would it, though? would she be in any more obscurity than she already really was? And let's talk about Naomi and Becky Lynch, and I can go on and on about all the top females that could easily be champion right now that are in obscurity. But we're supposed to brush everyone aside for Carmella. We want to see Carmella succeed at her cash-in, even if it's only for a week, I'm being told. Some fans are actually telling me, some subscribers of my own are telling me that, BC, I think we should have her succeed because it is the first ever women's Money in the Bank winner. So we gotta have it to be a cool moment. And then, like, the next night she can lose it back to fucking Nia or whoever and I'm like, what? Makes zero sense. First of all, her going over to Monday Night Raw to fucking cash in against who? Nia Jax? You really think you're trying to book Nia Jax finally as this beast. She finally gets a championship and Carmella's beating her? So it's Carmella versus Ronda Rousey or SummerSlam. That's not going to sell me. So what's the other alternative? Carmella is going to beat fucking Asuka? Come on. Come on, guys. Carmella has to fail this cat. In a couple of months, we got a whole new Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So we're going to have to crown a new Money in the Bank briefcase winner for the women. This has to be done now at WrestleMania. We all know it's going to be a failed cash-in. We all know that. So why prolong it? Why not make this a WrestleMania moment in moments for the ages for Asuka? This is where Asuka truly gets made, even to the casual fan, that we're not really sold on Asuka. This is where Asuka says hello to the world. And it's at the expense of Charlotte and Carmella. And I don't care who it's at the expense of. This is Asuka's night. Beat Charlotte. Carmella comes in for a cash-in. It is a failed attempt. WrestleMania business just picked up. If I can quote good old JR, Jim Ross. The number 9 match slot on this card is going to be Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Now, originally I overbooked this match and I had Shane McMahon turning on Daniel Bryan, but there's no reason to do that. I think that this match, you cannot have Daniel Bryan lose this match, especially in New Orleans. This is a moment at the end of this match where I want Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan on the hard camera side with all the fucking fans watching on and just yesing their victory. That's a WrestleMania moment in and of itself. Originally, I had Shane McMahon turning on Daniel Bryan, costing them the match, and Zayn and Owens pick up the victory, and Shane McMahon explains exactly why he did so on Tuesday SmackDown. But, makes zero sense to me. Why even pull that? Why go down that road? You can make a cool storyline with Zayn and Owens remaining fired. Because I was starting to really like them jumping the barricade at live events in street clothes and beating people up. Showing this past Tuesday on SmackDown, jumping the barricade, holding the show hostage for a little bit until they cut the microphone off. We could do more cool shit in this storyline. And eventually, obviously, they're going to be reinstated. They'll get their jobs back. That's part of the storyline. And it'll be an ultimate payoff. Or even if they go to Monday Night Raw, jump the barricade, cause a bunch of havoc until somebody over there says, you know what? I like what you guys are doing. You're making names for yourselves over here. We're going to give you a job. There's so many ways you could do this with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to save face. They'll be just fine, remaining fired storyline-wise. And it's going to be a fun storyline going forward if they do remain fired. And you have Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon with their hands raised high in New Orleans in the number 9 match slot. I just think that's fucking brilliant. You don't even got to overbook this. Have them go out there and do what these 4 guys can do out there, and that's fuck shit up. In the number 10 match slot, I have an impromptu match that might not even be a match, not even in my booking, however you want to go with this. The whole event, I want John Cena to be in the front row, as he said he was going to be as a fan. Maybe Nikki Bella is by his side, maybe some family and friends, whatever. And every now and again, they show John Cena on the camera and at home on TV, and they showed up on the Tron, and you got John Cena, right? And right before the main event of Styles and Nakamura, I want Cena to jump the barricade, get in the ring, grab a microphone, and say, here I am watching one of the best WrestleManias I've ever seen in my life. This has been an incredible night. I can't help but try one more time because we are now at the home of The Undertaker. WrestleMania is the home of The Undertaker. So I want John Cena to pull the same shit he did the last 4 weeks. New Orleans, we got to give it one more try. Let's summon the Dead Man. So they try to summon the dead man, and everybody's making noise. Tens of thousands of people in New Orleans. What a sight to see. What a sound to be heard. It'd be epic. But to no avail. Undertaker never comes out, and you see the distraught look on John Cena. John Cena tells the crowd, guys, I'm sorry. I tried everything I could. I failed. John Cena jumps out of the ring. He goes to jump over the barricade, and all of a sudden, up on the main screen, up at the rampway, I'll still call it the Tron, a motorcycle is pulling in backstage into the lot. We come to find out it is none other than the fucking Undertaker. The crowd erupts. John Cena is stuck in his tracks. The Tron goes to black. Now the crowd doesn't know what's going on. Is Undertaker actually coming out here? Is he walking out? Is he coming out with a bike? His rollin' theme or his American Badass theme, you can have a Kid Rock that whatever the fuck, some badass biker taker music starts blasting, and here comes Undertaker on his bike, rolling down to the ring. He takes a fucking lap around ringside, he gets off that son of a bitch and bike, grabs the microphone, gets in the ring and says, Cena, you son of a bitch boy, you talk about my wife, you bring my wife into this. You call out my manhood. You call out me as a person, not just the wrestler or a character. Now you got to get in this ring. And justice is going to be served, son. I'm going to whoop your ass, basically. Impromptu match. And Undertaker is now calling out Cena. I'm going to beat your ass for bringing my wife into this. For calling out my manhood. For making this personal. And Cena's like, what the fuck? We're seriously going to do this? Now, you could bring in a referee and make this an impromptu match, or this could be just an unsanctioned fight. We know Undertaker's a big fan of UFC. Maybe he just makes this a fight with John Cena. Because of his bad hit, maybe Undertaker doesn't think he can put on a good match anymore. Who knows? So, you can add a referee if you want. In my booking, all that needs to happen is the Undertaker stands tall at the end. John Cena is going to be just fine, guys. I promise you. He's going to remain with WWE in a part-time status anyway, and at times even more than part-time. And you can continue this storyline that John Cena cannot win on the big events lately. John Cena has been on a losing streak for the ages, and he just can't seem to find himself, to find his way. Cena will be fine. You can keep telling that epic story and have the ultimate payoff at SummerSlam. But The Undertaker, I'm done with having him flat on his back doing the job. He did it to Brock Lesnar for the marketing and to really pump up Lesnar. He did it to the young up-and-comer Roman Reigns last year. That's enough. He doesn't need to fucking put over John Cena when John Cena can keep going with this epic story. Like, have I finally fucking reached the end of my career? And by SummerSlam, you got the old Cena back. He's found his groove again. Way before SummerSlam even, but the story can be built towards SummerSlam. But for The Undertaker, this could be it, guys, and most likely is it. He needs to stand tall at the end of this, whether it's an impromptu match or not. John Cena flat on his back, Undertaker with his hand up high. He gets back on his bike and he literally rides off into the sunset one last time. And when he gets to the top of the ramp, he stops, the music is blasting, and he puts that arm in the air one more time. And he rides off, never to be seen again, or at least not until WrestleMania 35's Hall of Fame, where he is the headliner. Goosebumps, bro. So you have a little impromptu altercation before the main event. At this point, WrestleMania has been badass, but we're not even done. We go to match number 11 in the 11th slot, and that's Styles, AJ Styles, the champion, SmackDown heavyweight champion, and the challenger Nakamura. No need to overbook this. Two of the best in the world. Go out there. I want them to have at least 40 minutes. That's right. I would have loved for this to be an Iron Man match. But if they give them 40 minutes, and this can be done because if you go back to every minute in this amplified video, this amplified booking video, you guys saw where I cut enough time, where I cut corners. So I saved enough time that they can at least have a 40-minute match. And tear that fucking place down. Burn that son of a bitch to the ground. Captivate every last son of a bitch in that building. Whether they're a diehard hardcore fan or a casual fan. Nakamura and Styles should steal the show and go above and beyond and overperform for the ages. There's no question. And at the end of this, Shinsuke Nakamura pins AJ Styles 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring. And new World Heavyweight Champion Shinsuke Nakamura, the first ever Japanese heavyweight champion in WWE history. Talk about a moment being made. And unlike Charlotte and Asuka, this is a legitimate, after the match, a real handshake. And a huge hug and admiration for each other and respect. Maybe even tears for what they just did. The crowd would be erupting in respect and showing their respect for both individuals. AJ Styles rolls out of the ring. He takes the walk of shame. You know, AJ Styles will be getting just as much cheers and respect. And Nakamura gets up on the ropes, up on the turnbuckles, and he hoists that championship way up high. Does Vince dare to spend some money for fireworks? This would be the time, Vince. If you got a couple extra bucks, if the XFL doesn't need it, maybe some fireworks, but just a huge, momentous party type atmosphere and occasion for Shinsuke. We fade to black. WrestleMania goes off the air. And when you look back at it, what a WrestleMania that was. At least an amplified booking. So that's really, I mean, when I booked this thing from top to bottom, this is the type of show that would just have me so proud to be a professional wrestling fan. And a fan that just loves WrestleMania season, and knowing that anything can happen. I gave you everything in this amplified booking, guys. From Seth Rollins finally hoisting up that championship, the IC strap. Aiden English turning on Rusev. Mahal squeaks out the U.S. Championship. Nia Jax becomes Women's Raw Champion, squashing Alexa Bliss. Is she even still alive? Ronda Rousey gets her first big win with Kurt Angle in WWE. They defeat the evil Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Despite Samoa Joe's efforts, thanks to The Rock returning. But later, Samoa Joe reigns on Roman Reigns' parade. After Roman Reigns captures the championship in a physical altercation with Lesnar, Samoa Joe takes out Roman Reigns because of his family, because of his cousin and what he did earlier in the night, setting up something awesome between Samoa Joe and Roman. Braun Strowman and Goldberg together as a tag team. Not only that, they get the straps, shocking the world. What does this mean for these two brutes? Again, in advanced booking, I have them actually taking each other on to see who's the best at SummerSlam. Charlotte and Asuka, what a dream match. Asuka pulls out the victory. Carmella cashes in after Charlotte turns heel on Asuka. To no avail, Asuka gets a double win within 10 minutes. The Charlotte match obviously is going to be long with Asuka. But within 10 minutes after the victory over Charlotte, and then she's beating Carmella, what a fucking couple of moments for Asuka. What a fucking night for Asuka. Shinsuke Nakamura hoisting up that championship as the first ever Japanese heavyweight champion in WWE. Undertaker and John Cena with a showdown for the ages. I can go on and on. That's WrestleMania. You have to overbook some spots, and some other spots, they don't need overbooking at all. You just let them go out and do what they can do. And speaking of, I think every boy and gal is going to go out there. Every man and woman is going to go out there in WrestleMania Sunday night and deliver everything they have. And I hope and wish nothing but the best for all of them. Go out, perform like you know how to do. Take chances, take risks. Go above and beyond. Dare to dream. Dare to be bold. Dare to be the best. Every single participant out there, no matter what time given, should go out there with one goal in mind. Stealing the show with what you have in front of you. And I'm hoping that writing, booking, and creative together are giving these superstars a chance to do that. Because it all starts at the booking. This has been Amplified Booking, guys. I hope WrestleMania this Sunday night delivers at least fucking 80% of something like this. 75% of this type of a booking, I'll take it. And you guys know what I'll do, man. If their booking Sunday night is better than mine, Monday, my next video, the good, the bad, and the ugly of WrestleMania, I'll come on that video and I will take the L. I will admit that WWE beat my booking. But if I beat their booking, and you guys know if I beat it, I'll know if I beat it. After Sunday's WrestleMania goes off the air, if I felt my booking was better, I'm coming on that video, the good, the bad, and the ugly, Monday. And I'm going to say I took the W, and my booking was clearly better. If this is one of those occasions, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I take the L. I hope WWE blows me out of the water. I want WrestleMania 34 to be one of the best I've ever seen, if not the best. Because on paper, that's the best card I've ever seen. Now they just got to go out there and deliver. Amplified, man. I'm cashing the fuck out, guys. Tonight's the Hall of Fame. Tomorrow night, NXT TakeOver New Orleans. And Sunday night, WrestleMania. I'll see you guys for the good, the bad, and the ugly of WrestleMania on Monday. For now, enjoy the rest of the weekend. B motherfucking C. Check you.